Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining me. I really appreciate your time. It was 74 of you that signed up for this session. I'm going to jump right into it. I want to introduce you to the cuckoo bird. The cuckoo bird does not build its own nest, and it does not raise its own chicks. What the cuckoo bird does is it flies around and it looks for another bird's nest, specifically a nest that has eggs in it. And what the cuckoo bird does is it hangs out nearby on a branch and it waits for that bird to leave, to go eat, to do its thing. And then the cuckoo bird flies over to the nest, deposits its eggs next to the other bird's eggs, and flies away. The other bird returns, not knowing that the cuckoo bird deposited its own eggs and lays on the eggs to incubate the eggs. Now, the funny thing about the cuckoo bird's eggs is that it hatches earlier than the existing eggs in the nest already. And when the chicks hatch, the cuckoo bird's eggs, they hatch, its instinct right away is to get rid of everything in the nest. The eggs, and if other birds, cuckoo birds have hatched, to push out the other cuckoo birds. It's just innate, and it's an instinct of the cuckoo bird. It wants to nest all to itself. So imagine that. A cuckoo bird hatches, and it gets rid of the eggs and any other birds who may be in the nest or chicks that may be in the nest. So let's take that true concept. This is true. It's called the cuckoo bird, and apply it to leadership. Folks, have you seen leaders act this way? Look at my head. Yes, in my 32 years in educational leadership, I have seen some bad leaders and many, many good leaders, but unfortunately, more bad leaders. So how can we deal with, maneuver, or not become cuckoo, like the cuckoo bird? How? And then ask yourself, why do leaders act that way? Well, one answer is domestication. Domestication is a term that is defined as how we were raised, how you were domesticated. So everything, folks, starts in the household. Everything. That's why there's different political affiliations, different religions, the way our character is. It's all built when we were raised as a youngster. It all starts in the household. So if the household is dysfunctional, if the household is racist, if the household supports guns, whatever it supports, as kids, we are most likely to follow that. Most likely. Some differ as they become adults. So think about that concept. Domestication from the household, how we were raised, is what we become. Now, there's a saying out there, it's not where you start, it's where you finish. So those that may be raised in a bad situation as they are growing up can change. They just need to have the right new people around them, those positive figures, positive role models, training, just people leading them down the right path and helping them out to grow and become better people. So that's a primary reason why people act crazy, act cuckoo, act negative. It's because how they were raised, that domestication factor. Now, we should not have any leaders out there acting like the cuckoo bird where they're pushing people away, i.e. pushing teammates away. They should be raising their own chicks. Leaders should be raising or leading their own teammates. And they should be taking over other people's space, their nests. They should be creating their own opportunities. They should be doing their own thing, again, leading their own team. So this cuckoo bird thing that's valid and real applies in both professional worlds and personal worlds. We've met people in our personal worlds that are like the cuckoo bird. But let's get back to leadership specifically. How can we avoid acting like a cuckoo bird? So, for instance, we have leaders who come to the job and they want that promotion, they want that raise so bad. So they throw you under the bus. They sabotage maybe projects or they talk behind your back because they are the leader. You're not, and they can go to higher ups and badmouth you. If you're a leader and you're listening to me right now and you're doing that, please stop. You're better than that. Everyone can win. Everyone's valuable. The whole team can move forward. I always say to people, leaders, existing leaders or aspiring leaders, you don't have to cut throat. You don't have to be mean. You don't have to do bad things to get ahead. Always and forever let your body of work be your calling card. People will notice if you're first in, last out, if you're sharing, if you're helpful, if you're a resource that they can depend on, if you work hard and you have great results, you produce things. That's what you want to be known for as a leader, not someone who operates really, really bad and negative. Because when you have leaders like that, you have teammates leaving all the time, production's low because no one wants to be around you and produce with you and do great things with you because you're just a mean person. If they connect with you somehow at a meeting or if you're working on projects together as a team, they know you're going to take over, you're going to be aggressive, you're going to be mean, probably demeaning, and people don't want that. People are smarter than we think. They would just move on to another organization because they don't have to deal with that. Now, the sad thing in this whole mix is when there's cuckoo leaders, as I call them, upper leadership needs to identify this and terminate them. And I see a lot of cuckoo leaders getting away with things in upper leadership, just collecting a paycheck and not doing anything with, say, middle management or lower management. And shame on the upper management. You should have that self-awareness, which I will talk about in a little bit. So I just wanted to intro this with the cuckoo bird and how it really acts, its instincts, its innate mindset of pushing people out and away. And it's all about me, the soul bird. So think about that. Think about that as a leader, that you don't want to be cuckoo. You don't want to be following the traits of a cuckoo bird. Hello, everyone. My name is Dr. Anthony Perkins. I do this series called Your Leadership Sucks. And then whatever I'm talking about today is my subtitle. So today, the episode is called Your Leadership Sucks, Leadership Lessons from the Ball, which is a book. And I have it right here. I highly, highly, highly encourage you to read this book. Why? Here's one great thing. This book will take you 30 minutes to read from start to finish. It's 89 pages, and these are 89 small pages. But it keeps you glued from page 1 to page 89. And once you read it, you might want to read it again, because I would challenge you and ask you to share this with the world. Like I'm sharing it with you now on my leadership series here called Your Leadership Sucks. And by the way, your leadership doesn't suck. It's just an edgy name for marketing, for social media. I needed something a little edgy to grab your attention. I've actually had people contact me and have fun with the name. Oh, you told me I suck, and I know you don't mean that. Thank you for teaching us X, Y, and Z. So please don't be offended by Your Leadership Sucks, the main title. And again, the subtitle is always what I'm talking about that night. So let's dive into it. Again, thank you to the 74 that signed up. Thank you for your time. I'm going to leave you with 3, 4, 5, 6 learning nuggets. If you have a growth mindset, tonight, you're going to leave with 4, 5, 6, 7 nuggets. And what I'm going to ask you to do is use 1 or 2 of them within 24 hours. Just implement it, integrate it into your daily practices as a leader. You can use these in your personal life too. I'm always going to leave you with some nuggets, but the key is that, once again, I want to stress this. You have to do this within 24 hours. Just implement something into your leadership work and master it. At first, it may be ugly, muddy. You may make some mistakes. You may trip over yourself, but keep doing it. You're going to get better and better, that experience factor. So let me dive into the book. Let's see if I got it right. The Ball by Todd Whitaker. He's a professor at Indiana State University, a professor of educational leadership. This book was published in 2010, so it's about 15 years old. But don't get fooled, folks. Any old books, new books still apply, still relate to leadership. Still, they wrote math books back, I don't know when, probably 50, 60, 70, 80 years ago. 2 plus 2 back then is still 4 now. So don't get fooled by what's an older book. I don't know. Trust me, Todd Whitaker is a prolific author out there. He's written, at the time, in this book, it says he's written over 20 books. I bet now it's probably at 40 plus. He's an international speaker. He gets out there. He's someone that I am desperately wanting to be one day. I want to speak to the world. That's my goal here, is to do this series. I write books. I'll share one with you that's coming out next month of mine. In my website information where you can buy all my books and my services. As some of you know, I do inspirational speaking, organizational training, and leadership coaching right now. I work with a lot of organizations. I do work for a school district. That's why I'm in this office right here. And my last day here will be June 5th of this year. And then I will go from part-time consultant to full-time consultant and really get out there in the world to, again, my goal is to speak to the world. I really have a lot to share. I'm 32 years in the education field as a math and science teacher, junior high. I love some junior high kids. Then I transitioned to a vice principalship, then a principalship. I was a principal for 10 years. And then I moved to the district office where I was a director of 4 or 5 different programs for 4 years. And then I ended my career as a superintendent. For 9 years, I did that. And boy, that was a great journey. Many victories, some failures. I could do another episode just alone on the superintendency. Took 11 months off to catch up on my sleep. I raised a daughter. I was married earlier in my career. Unfortunately, went through a divorce. Concurrently, I was a professor, assistant professor at Northern Arizona University for 13 years, teaching leadership. I mean, everything under the leadership umbrella, from finance to research to politics and publicity in education. And the list of my leadership classes goes on and on. I had a blast doing that, helping the next generation. That's what we're charged with as leaders, to grab that next younger generation who are going to be supervisors, who are going to be principals, superintendents, etc., helping them come up. Remember, as a leader, you're not only a transformational person, where you're energetic, you're inspiring, you're constantly learning, you're moving your team, you're looking at the potential within your team and raising each person up, but you're also kind of a servant leader where you're helping others in or outside of your organization. You always want to reach back and serve and bring the next generation up. In my classes at Northern Arizona University, I did it part-time, so they gave me 3 classes a year. So I did pretty much 2 8-week classes in the spring and 1 8-week class in the fall, and I couldn't do any more because I was a superintendent, and that in itself is a massive job. But I had military in my classes, I had medical, I had business, I had people getting their real estate license because they wanted to own their own businesses. I had educators and so forth. I had so many, and they weren't just in the United States; they were international, because sometimes I taught in person. They call it ground, or sometimes I taught online, so anyone in the world could take the class that they signed up. So I had a blast with that, and did a lot of things, but that's enough about me. This is about you. Let's get into the book, The Ball. So I'm going to just put me on the screen for right now. I'm going to give you a quick summary, but the book, reading the book, will do you justice here. This is it right here. Let's see it. I got it right there. You go. The Ball, 89 pages, take you about 30, 40 minutes, one time to read it. And it's a great metaphor book to use in your leadership and in helping others. So it starts with Mrs. E, Annie Erickson. She, at the point in the book, she's a 20-year teacher. She's just started her 20th year of teaching, and she loves teaching. Not only does she love teaching, she has a favorite period. when she teaches. She's an elementary school teacher. The favorite period is, of all periods, recess. Recess. Why? Because she doesn't stay inside the classroom while the kids go out for recess and they have aides out there watching the kids. She, as a teacher, goes out there with her kids and she plays the game Foursquare. Have you ever played the game Foursquare? And by the way, if you have any questions, comments, feel free to put that in the comments. I would love to answer your questions at any time or entertain your comments. So she goes out to recess. She's always playing Foursquare, and she uses that time to build relationships with her kids. She teaches the game of Foursquare as you're not playing to win, but you're playing to learn the game. It's more important to learn the rules and the skills of the game versus winning. So she always likes to utilize recess, not only for Foursquare and teaching them about how to play the game well. And again, the emphasis is not on winning, but when you're playing, being a good teammate within the game and playing it correctly. So she's trying to teach them basically life skills and how to treat other people, how to play a game and do it the right way. So taking your time and learning it before you play it, and then when you play it, you do it the right way. And of course, you're young as kids, you're competitive, you want to win. But she doesn't emphasize winning again. She emphasizes playing it the right way and being a courteous young person. Outside of the game Foursquare, she also just teaches those relation skills, getting along in the swings, getting along when you're playing kickball, and so forth and so on. And again, it's her time to build those relationships. So when she goes back into the classroom, she has a great community, a great culture, a great family. Remember, culture is expectations, beliefs, attitudes, behaviors, norms, traditions. And she wants that strong culture, that strong community, that strong family in her classroom. So she uses recess to build those skills in addition to teaching kids academics during the day. And it's been working for her for up to 20 years. All of a sudden, in her 20th year, all these mandates come down from the school district. Now you have to teach them test-taking skills. You have to do a lot of things centered around the tests, the annual tests, the standardized tests at the end of the year. Now we have to teach kids character counts, bullying, suicide prevention, and the list goes on and on. So she feels her almost 6-hour instructional day has been scrunched down to 2 or 3 because she has all of these mandates. And these mandates cause her not to go out for recess because she has so much prepping to do. So she finds when she doesn't go out with the kids anymore to teach them life skills, relationship skills, just getting along skills, the character skills. When the kids come back from recess, she doesn't have that family, that community she was trying to build inside the classroom anymore. The kids are acting up and acting out. So she decides to get back to one of her traditions. And one of her traditions is cupcakes. And having those cupcakes, I believe it's on a Friday, they do well throughout the week. The teacher, Mrs. E, will give you a cupcake party at the end of the day on Friday as a thank you, good job, a little incentive to help the elementary kids do well in school, character-wise and academically. So she takes a trip to this bakery that she used to go to years ago. And she goes there because it's far. It's on the other side of town. There's closer bakeries, but she really likes this bakery because of their customer service, the way the mom and pop always ran that customer friendly. You can come in and shop, and it's fresh baked goods. There's free coffee while you're shopping. You get the whole experience of great bakery and fresh products with a customer service that's A+. Well, she arrives to this bakery to get the cupcakes, and she notices something right off the bat. As soon as she drives up, the outside is dingy, the awning is torn, there's garbage around the entrance, that wasn't like that in the olden days when mom and pops was running it. So she still enters into the bakery and notices things aren't freshly baked anymore. It's all packaging. And she approaches the sole person she can find in the store, and that person is really rude to her because she wants to get cupcakes. And he says, well, they're right there. And so she does pull them off the shelf, and she specifically asks, can you go put a topping on it? I would like a special topping on my cupcakes for the kids. And the worker sighs. It acts like, this is a hassle. Why are you bothering me? That's an extra thing I don't need to do. But she does ask politely again, and he goes in the back to do his thing, to put the topping on the cupcakes. While she's waiting, someone else walks in, and she looks and she notices something very familiar about the gentleman. It's a former student. And so she's all excited, and they both look at each other kind of funny and then run up to each other and, hug and go into, oh, I remember Mrs. E had you, 15, 20 years ago. Good to see you again, yada, yada, yada. So they have that small talk. And in that small talk, it's discovered that her former student, now owns the bakery. The mom and pop who owned it years ago, they retired and gave the bakery to their son, which is, again, her former student. And he goes into a thing of how the large chains, the supermarkets, have taken over in the town and are ruining his business. And it's forcing him to cut corners and cancel things and not have that fresh product, the baked goods. So he has to package things and sell them off the shelf. And he just can't keep up. So you have two people, a teacher who has a lot of mandates and she's losing her kids in the classroom. And you have this former student who now owns the bakery, who now has to cut corners to survive, but run a mediocre at best bakery. And so they sit down and talk, and the talk centers around how can they revitalize her teaching career and his business. And so they both agree at the end of the conversation that they're going to get back to the things that made both of them successful, the store successful, the bakery, and her classroom successful, meaning the teacher's going to now start going out to recess with the kids again, to continue to work with the kids on their character and rules of the games, and to get along and to act like a person of excellence and so forth and so on. And she'll figure out another time where she can keep up with the mandates. So she's not ignoring the mandates, but she's going to probably have to do them after hours or maybe a little bit on the weekends. And then the bakery guy, the young guy, said the same thing. I'm going to start making sure my employees are well trained or are treated well. He had to cancel a company picnic because he couldn't afford it anymore. So he's going to figure out a way how he can bring the annual picnic back where employees can bring their families and do the culture piece within his bakery. So that is kind of the gist of the story, a quick summary. I won't give you any more than that. I want to leave you hanging. There's a little something more at the end. But what's funny was the bakery is called CF Market. And the CF stands for Customer First Market. And the owner, in his small talk, in his discovery, figured that, wow, I've got to get back to my customers here. I got to get back to having that A+ customer service and bringing back the people to my bakery. Even though the big chains are out there, I can still do something special on a smaller scale to keep them coming my way. Possibly cleaning up the place, repainting, replacing the awning, making sure there's not garbage out in front. When they come in, they have fresh baked goods, not packaged goods. Making sure the employees are trained to be customer service oriented and so forth. So both of them have a task. The teacher and the bakery owner now have a task of getting back on board with the ball. The ball represents goals. You have lost track of the ball. You took your eye off the ball. And again, the ball can represent goals, dreams, ambitions, the end product. So that's what the book is all about. Do you still have your eye on the ball, your goals, that strategic plan that you put together, and you want to meet those action steps and those goals eventually. So do you get it? What does that mean to you? How does that resonate with you when it comes to leadership? Are you so bogged down that you're in the weeds? Are you so bogged down with mandates that you forgot the core of what you're supposed to be doing as a leader, and you've gotten away from your ball, the goal? So keeping your eye on the ball at all times, no matter what comes at you, is key. And you can handle all that other stuff by scheduling it out, but you don't want to drop the ball. You don't want to, make sure you want to make sure you stay focused on the ball. So let me give you some reflective things here that go along with this summary of the ball by Todd Whitaker. And again, there's the cover here. So I gave you a quick little story. Again, read the book. It really goes in. There's some other things I left out intentionally. We're going to go into some reflective questions to help you think. Folks, how do you learn? This is how you learn. This is actual research. You learn from an experience. That's what starts the learning. You experience something. And then how you maximize learning? You reflect on the experience. Did you catch that? You start your learning from an experience, and then you reflect on that experience, and that's how you maximize learning. That's actual research. So let's go into reflection here. I'm going to do it in two parts, a professional reflection and a personal reflection. So I put together, actually, these questions come from the back of this book, The Ball. The cupcake lesson is to never take your eye off the ball. What is the ball in this story? We know the ball in this story is actually the cupcakes, bringing that tradition back of the Friday cupcakes, building that community, that team, that family with the kids, so she can teach them. So when kids know you care, when adults know you care, they'll work with you and they'll work for you. So in this story, the ball was those cupcakes and getting back to that tradition. So what is it in your organization? What is the ball in your organization? What is the ball? What is your goal or goals in your organization? Secondly, has your organization taken its eye off the ball? And you have to be honest as a leader. You can't fake the funk or be in denial or not be aware. That's another thing I want to talk about in a little bit. You have to be aware, self-aware as a leader. Did we take our eye off the ball, the goal? If so, how can you regain that focus? And the teacher just simply said, I'm going back to the traditional things. I'm going back to the cupcake celebration. I'm going back to being out there in recess. I'll worry about the mandates. I'll make sure I do them. And I'll schedule them in. I'll integrate them in somehow, some way. 3, is it realistic to still put customers first? Who are your customers? It's always realistic to put your customers first. Without customers, you don't have a business. Without students in education, there's no schools. We close them down. So we always want to keep our eye on the ball here in education, which is students. Now, this is where I argue and debate, and I'm very passionate about this. Business people try to think you can run a school district, or education like a business. You can't. And business people just don't have the experience of being in the education field to understand that. And I've argued with them, and I've just said, I'm talking to a wall, because students are not widgets. Students are not widgets. You can't have an inventory like in a business. Students aren't inventoried. So there's a lot of differences when it comes to business and education. You can't run education like a business. You just can't. You can't. You cannot. So I just want to be a little melodramatic there, because business people think everything is a business. No, it's not. It's not. But our customers are our students and our parents. So we have to have that touch, that customer oriented touch with them in the field. We have to communicate highly with parents, parent teacher conferences. Right now, parents can contact the teacher at any time through a portal. We have all kinds of portals where parents can communicate with the teacher. Again, parent teacher conferences. We have all kinds of events. There's all kinds of connections with parents and teachers at any time, especially students. Students come to the class. So there's always many open avenues, open doors for parents to connect. Parents can call anytime and say, I know 2 weeks ago I got a progress report, but I want to know how little Anthony's doing right now today. And parents have the grade book. They have portals where they can see the grade book and then call and ask questions to the teacher. Moving forward, how would you address existing and or new initiatives that may keep you away from the ball? Like Mrs. E. So all those school initiatives came at her and she lost her focus on the ball, which was those traditions, going out at recess, doing a cupcake party at the end of the week as an incentive, teaching them the soft skills of being a better person, those character traits. This way she would have that community within the classroom. So moving forward, how would you address existing or new initiatives that may keep you away from the ball? And that's being self-aware at all times as a leader, making sure you always keep your eye on the ball. These new things are coming at you. How can I schedule them? How can I integrate them, but not lose sight of my kids, my parents, the ball? So think about these things and play this back so you can truly reflect, or get the book, and in the back of the book, these questions are in the back of the book. Some other professional reflections. In what ways did you make your employees feel special, or do you make your employees feel special? There has to be some type of recognition. When I teach leadership, I teach also leadership styles. And one style is called task-oriented leaders. They're all about the task. They don't care about the people. People are secondary. They're like, we got to get this task done. Okay, we got 70 widgets out. All right, we need 70 more by tomorrow. Okay, we got 70 out tomorrow. We need 70 more the next day. And it's all about the task. And that's a horrible way to lead. You got to be a combination of, yeah, we got to get the job done, but you can also be, another style is called people-oriented leadership, where you include the people in that process. You get their input. You treat them with dignity, with respect. You give them incentives. You recognize them. You keep them happy so they produce those things that you want them to produce. Would they agree with your answer? So in which way do you make your employees feel special? So making sure you implement some type of way you are appreciating and recognizing your employees is critical. All of us love a simple pat on the back, an attaboy, you're doing a great job verbally, or you recognize me in front of the team. All of us love that stroke of our ego every once in a while. Every single person, no matter how old you are. Second question, when Mrs. Annie Erickson, Miss E, decided to take a stand, what does she mean? What does this look like for you? So her stand was, we're getting back to my tradition, but I'm still going to integrate those mandates somehow, some way, by scheduling, by integration techniques. Lastly, why are celebrations like the cupcakes and employee picnic at the bakery important? How do you celebrate? So there should be all types of celebrations. If it's once every 2 weeks, once a month, at maximum once a quarter, but that's far. That's every 3 months. I would do something shorter term and have a sunshine committee, a celebration committee, whatever you want to call it, and do something so people want to come to work and have a little fun too. And they know you care, and they're going to work with you and work for you. Personal reflection. What is your ball in your personal life? What is your ball? What goals do you have? Are you one of those people that go home, eat, watch TV, go to sleep, repeat Tuesday, repeat Wednesday, repeat Thursday, repeat Friday? That's not a life. People wonder why they have health issues, because they're stressed out at work. They're at a job they don't like and they won't leave because they're comfortable. And then they go home and eat and sleep. watch TV, repeat the next day. That's not healthy for your body. There should be a routine where you're working out after work, somewhat walking, doing something, aerobics, jujitsu, whatever your thing is, you got to be moving this body to get rid of that stress. That cortisone hormone is powerful. That's the stress hormone. And you got to do something after work for yourself. So what is your ball in life? Is it health? Is it faith? Is it um, being active? Is it serving? What is it? You got to have a ball in life. If you don't have any goals, there's a true stat out there. Executives who retire, after they retire, they typically only live a year and a half, and they die because there's no ball anymore for them. There's no goal. There's no goal for them. So you always have to have something in front of you. What you have in front of you, you always pay attention to. What's in the forefront of your mind, you always pay attention to. Some type of ball, which is a goal. Have you taken your eye off the ball? Have you taken your eye off what's important? If so, how can you regain your focus? Maybe your ball is your relationship with your boyfriend, girlfriend, husband, wife. Maybe it's being a better parent for your kids. We all need to have a ball or balls, goals in front of us. Lastly, what can you do to balance your ball with other priorities in your life? What can you do to balance your ball with other priorities in life? So just like the teacher, just like the baker, they went off into the weeds, didn't focus on the ball, and now they're coming back to their ball. So I'm going to show this here from a loyal listener. We are in the same frequency, and this is from Dr. Delphina Joy Avila. I do an activity that is called Bounce Back to the Blessings and Move Forward to Experience the Blessing. I was envisioning playing basketball and how rebounding is very important. This is Joy Leadership Resiliency. I encourage you to go to LinkedIn and pull her up. She works with people and teams, and really, and I have an episode I did with her 2, 3, 4 weeks ago about wisdom, and she really helps people rebound, like she's saying here. And I believe it's called Joy Leadership, somewhere along the lines there. So look her up. She can help you if you really need some help, personally and professionally. Thank you, Doc, for sharing that. And then some final reflections. Are there traditions in your life, family, that have given up? What are they? Should you consider renewing them? How do you juggle the balls between your personal and professional lives? What changes would you like to make, if any? So personal and professional reflections. And how does learning start? With an experience and then reflecting on that experience. That's why I followed his Todd Whitaker's, the authors. I gave you all his reflective questions right here, right now. He wants you to reflect. So you can contact her right there, joyoptions.org, joyoptions.org. And she can really help you get back to the ball. She's really good at that. Thank you, Joy, Doctor, for sharing that. Now, let me go over a few other things here. So I'm closing out here. Thank you for hanging in with me so far. What are some actionable takeaways? We always want some actionable takeaways because it's easy for me to do something and go, here it is. Good luck, God bless. But I always want to leave you with some actionable takeaways. So self-awareness. I kind of talked about that as a leader, being self-aware at all times. Sometimes leaders don't even know until someone pulls them aside and says, hey, I see you in this slide and it's not good. This is the things you're doing wrong. And you're like, oh, didn't even think I was doing that. I didn't know I was yelling. I didn't know I was being mean. I didn't know I wasn't listening to my teammates. I didn't know X, Y, and Z. But being self-aware and taking in that input also, if someone does come up to you, you may be in self-aware mode, you may miss something. And it's always good to be open-minded, have a growth mindset to listen to others. So being self-aware, having that vision for your organization, How are you going to move forward positively like the teacher did? She finally became self-aware to say, I've gotten away from my ball. I'm going to bring back the tradition of the cupcakes, going out during recess and teaching them the soft skills of life. Therefore, my community inside my classroom will be great. The bakery guy, the same thing. He got away from his traditions, and so he's going to bring back the family picnics, the customer service, the fresh baked goods, and so forth. And then that having a strategy, meaning doing something, action, action, action. So let me give an example to close out here. I go to, on Thursdays, a coffee shop, and it's a beautiful coffee shop, just gorgeous. Probably you've all been to a Starbucks. This is like 4 times the size of a typical Starbucks. And it's a restaurant slash coffee shop. You can also, if you want to drink there too, they have alcohol. But it's so cozy. There's nooks and couches and just the way she designed it. You can go over to this section and there's couches over here. There's certain type of seats. Over here, it's like a family table. You bring a family and have a family dinner. The ambiance, it's really dim lit. There's candles at the table, nice music, jazz, classical. And how she is self-aware, Jessica is the owner, she changes it up every year. She keeps a certain theme, and then she closes the restaurant down for a week, changes everything around. You come back in after that week, and it totally looks different. Pictures, the way the seating is, and so forth. And she does that intentionally to keep you coming back to her. We want to see as customers what's going to be new, different. She even changes the menu. Every year she does this, every year. So she's self-aware on how to keep you coming back. Her vision, she has a great vision. She knows she's taking an analysis of when do customers come in. And from that analysis, then she shapes her hours of business. So Mondays, every Monday, she's always off. The place is closed. Tuesdays, she knows business is hot for breakfast and lunch only, so she's only open for breakfast and lunch. Wednesdays, breakfast and lunch only. And then Thursdays, lunch and dinner. Again, she's following a trend on when the customers were coming in, and so she set her hours accordingly. So she has self-awareness, she has vision, and she has a strategy in how she handles things, how she does things that keep the customers coming back. And she'll come up to you every once in a while. Thank you for coming in. Can I give you a free dessert tonight? So just think about that as a leader. How can you stay self-aware, have that vision for your organization, and put together a strategy that really blooms, helps your organization bloom? All right. Q&A, any questions? I would love to take them at any time. If you have any questions, don't be shy. I get a lot of you after this that email me with questions. That's fine, but I would love for you to do it here and now so everyone can learn. All right, future guest, Dr. Toyin will be joining me next week, next Wednesday, 6:30 Mountain Standard Time. She's the executive director of Great Hearts Christos. It's a charter school. I know it's here in Arizona. I'm pretty sure they have them in other states. She's going to do parent leadership, and I can't wait for that. She does a lot of research in that area, and she's a former principal, now an executive director. And I met her over LinkedIn. We just networked, and I said, I got to have you on my show to really get into parent leadership. So we call it the Parent Leadership Blueprint. That's next Wednesday, March 12th. Then Dr. Bobby Parmar. He's a professor at the University of Virginia. We're going to have what's called the Leaders Lounge, Raw Talk on Real Leadership. Again, all this is designed for you to learn, to grab learning nuggets and immediately put them into your leadership daily practices. And then future topics. I'm thinking of doing something on leadership self-care, the 7 leadership villains, things that are hurting you in leadership and how to recover from them. And then send in topic requests. I would love for you to send in topic requests. What do you want to know about? And I would love to do a session or message on that. I'm always open to that. You can email me that. You can put it in the comments right now. My newest book is coming out late April called Suck, 10 Micro-Moves to Elevate You from Suck to Significance. And I really get into micro moves. I'm not going to tell you the definition. I wanted to leave it as a cliffhanger. I am going to have my daughter on this live event coming up soon interview me regarding the book. So my daughter, she's 24. Her name is Talaya. She's my number one. So I'm going to ask her to come on here and to interview me about the book because I can't feel kind of funny interviewing myself. Scan the QR code right here, right now to pre-order. The book will be out next month. And there's some special things with this book. I'll share some special things about the book. This book has 3, not 1, not 2, but 3 videos included within the book. You scan the QR code within the book, and it takes you to my YouTube channel. And I, at the end of chapter 3, 6, and 10, there's 10 chapters. I do those videos, and I talk about key points within those chapters and then give you some things to think about moving forward. So I take the reading journey with you. You also get a sealed chapter within the book. Chapter 3 is sealed. I have a special seal on that, and it gives you a warning page before that. And I won't tell you what that chapter is about, and you can break the seal if you want. And then lastly, when you order it, I give you a book stand with it. So a lot of different things in this book, a lot of really good stuff. I worked really, really hard on this book. It took me a while to write this book. And no AI, I wrote it. All right, how do you just get started with something? So I put together, I borrowed this courage ladder. Courage ladder, and where it says getting started, that's where you put your goal. And for this case, it could be that's where you put the ball. The thing you want to focus on right on top there, you name it. I want to communicate better. I want to be a stronger leader. I want to be a better parent. I want to be a better husband, wife, etc. Put that right on the top where it says getting started, and then go to the bottom of the ladder, the first action step, and you put in what you want to do with a due date. Go to the second action step, put what you want to do next with a due date, and so forth and so on. And you stick to those due dates. You're committed to them. There's no kind of sort of, you can do this, folks. It's just, this is a simple little task to get started. So think about that. So I'm going to put this back up here. Thank you, Dr. Perkins. I really enjoyed your other book. I had practical strategies to apply instantly, and this was powerful. I'm looking forward to reading your next one. Blessings. So she's talking about my current book that's out. It's called I Against I, Getting Out of Your Own Way to Succeed. And I put in a lot of things in there to help you get off the ground, to start your purpose, to start going on that path. I really kind of remind you of how being stagnant is just a killer. You got to be consistent. You got to keep moving. Even if you don't have clarity, just put one foot in front of the other, and eventually that clarity will come. You just got to do it. Like Nike says, just do it. And then things will start to happen. So thank you for the kind words. What's one big thing? One big thing you're going to take from tonight. One big thing, folks, you're going to take from tonight. And do it within 24 hours. If you don't do it within 24 hours, it's going to fade. It's going to fade. You got to be that now person. So what's one big thing? And congratulations. I do not share this with the public, only those who attend my Your Leadership Sucks series. And I have 3 5-minute lessons. So one lesson is 5 minutes, a second lesson is 5 minutes, a third lesson is 5 minutes, and they're all video based. And I walk you through a lesson and I give you a challenge at the end. And if you scan this, it would take you right there. There is a cost because I put in a lot of time and work into this, but I don't share this with the public, only those who have come on here. So if you really want to do some evolving with your leadership, advancing, improving, take my 3 courses. They're 3 5-minute courses. They're simple but effective. My consulting, leadership coaching, organizational training, inspirational speaking. I love getting out there, working with the people. I want to speak to the world, folks. So I'm available. It's just a matter of contacting me. I'm on LinkedIn at Dr. Anthony J. Perkins. My email, drperkins@perkup-you.com. You can contact me there. My website, right there in front of you, perkup-you.com. Has my books for sale on there, my services. In other ways, my YouTube channel is Dr. Anthony J. Perkins. At PerkUp67 is my Instagram. And then finally, Facebook, Anthony J. Perkins. I post all these episodes on all of these channels, all of these platforms. Folks, thank you so much for listening. This will do it. I will see you next Wednesday. Remember, be good. Actually, nope, I said it wrong. Do good, be good. God bless. Go Bills.